Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This comes review for American Horror Story Freak Show, Episode 7, Test of Strength. And again, guys, another amazing episode. At this point, American Horror Story is just getting better and better and better. And honestly, I just think that they're just going to continue to get better and better and better. I mean, this episode was just amazing and by far the best episode of the season. And the thing I like about this episode was that this episode focused a lot more on Jimmy and Dell. Like, we finally saw that father-son bond. We get some really great confrontations between them. Really amazing acting from Michael Chiklis and Evan Peters tonight. And let's just talk about it because I overall just love this episode. Everything was going on was crazy, by far the best episode of the season, and let's just get to it. So, of course, at the end of last week's episode, we had that really awesome cliffhanger with Jimmy and Dandy, where Jimmy went to, um, Gloria and Dandy's house to get Bet and Dot because he knows that they went there. And he goes there, and right away you can see that there was a lot of tension between them. And, Danny's saying, oh, don't worry, he's just there. He's like to Jimmy, oh, don't worry, Bet and Dot can leave when they want to. And Dot's like, what are you talking about? You told us that we can't leave. So, I mean, I thought that was interesting and everything. And basically Jimmy finds out that Dandy was the one who was who was working with Twisty. He learns this through flashbacks basically, and when he realizes this, he's like to Ben Dot, we have to get out of here. He's like them, he's talking to them about that. By the way, we only see Dandy in one scene throughout this whole episode. Very well done, definitely, because the way this episode was done was definitely we only need to see Dandy in one scene. And after that happens, basically, Dandy basically tries to tell Jimmy, oh, no, Bet's staying, she's in love with me, Bet's gonna stay, Dot can go, I don't, but Bet, Dot can go, but obviously Dot can't go because Bet's there, so he's saying, Bet can stay, and, he's trying to convince Dot to stay somehow, and Dot finds out that Jimmy read from her diary, and she's just like creeped out, obviously. I mean, think about it. If someone read through your personal belongings and went through your personal, stuff, I would obviously be very, like, freaked out by it, definitely. Dandy read through her diary and everything, and it was really a great, well done scene. I really liked that, and I thought that was definitely very well done, in my opinion. So they do end up leaving. We don't know what's going to happen, but basically we see that it looks like they're going to leave, and that was just a perfect way to start the episode. I love that, definitely. And then we get to a song, and Evan Peters, Jimmy sings. And I was not expecting him to sing because I never thought Jimmy would be one of the few to sing, but he really did a great job. He performed like a classic Nirvana song, so great job, Evan Peters. I thought he did a really good job with that. But Elsa doesn't like it, and he's like, I don't care. We are singing this song my way or no way at all. And but he says, that he's gonna do that, and there's nothing she can do. And she tells him to watch who he's talking to, and he's like, I know who I'm talking to. And he says that she's a liar, which she is, because of course she's lying about the fact that she kidnapped Ben Dot. She's never told anyone about this, and Jimmy is still on to her because, everyone's pretty much against Elsa at this point, and I like seeing that, definitely. Elsa was definitely more in the background in this episode. Like, she had stuff to do, but she was definitely more in the background. So, he then says he knows what she did with the twins, and he knows she took them because he knows what happened to them, because and he says, hey, you want the twins? They're right there. So the twins are back to the freak show, and it's an amazing, well done scene because Elsa knows, and now, Jimmy knows and everything, and she's freaking out. She obviously, does not know what to do, but she tells them that that if they want to come back, she will have them, and she says, of course. So they're back, basically. So then we get this really interesting conflict between Stanley and Dell. Stanley and Dell, they get into quite a fight. Like, it's a really intense fight between them. Definitely really intense. And Maggie breaks it up. She's like, please keep it down or whatever. And they go inside to talk alone. Where Dandy, basically, not Dandy, sorry, this recap says Dandy. I don't know what this person was thinking. But, like, this recap that I'm using is not good. Okay, guys? Stanley gives Dell a very interesting, thing to say. Oh, also, we found out one other very interesting thing that I want to talk about. Remember that nurse that Dell was supposed to, I mean, not the nurse, the doctor that Dell threatened and said, if you ever come after my wife again, I will kill you? Yeah, we find out in this episode he's killed that doctor because his wife is there. And I thought that was definitely very interesting. It really shows how fucked up of a character Dell really is. And this episode, again, really makes us realize that Dell is a very fucked up character, definitely. So, basically, Stanley is blackmailing Dell. Um, and basically, oh, sorry, not his wife, his daughter. It was his daughter that was there. And basically, Stanley gives Dell a very interesting ultimatum because if you remember, Stanley wanted Maggie to do this, but Maggie's kind of like, is kind of being a pussy and pussying out about it, so he basically isn't having her help him anymore. So instead, he's having Dell do it, and he says that he came to make him a deal, and he says he wants him to kill one of the freaks. So when he said that, I'm like, okay, Dell will definitely do that because Dell's a very fucked up person. And he tells him to bring the body to a barn a couple of miles west of there and that he has a day. So I thought that was just really awesome what was happening. I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen, but someone's definitely going to die. Because I knew Dell would do it. Because if Dell can kill a doctor, he will kill a freak. He will. So Jimmy tells Maggie that the twins changing their story is making him uncomfortable, and of course Maggie wanted to run away with him. So, and they haven't run away, which I was surprised about because it seemed like they were just gonna get a move on and run away. But basically, Maggie's suggesting that they leave right now, and she's saying, "Look, let's just leave right now. It's best for us to leave now." But he says that doesn't feel right with him. He doesn't feel that it's right to just leave all of a sudden. And she thinks he's stalling on running off with her. And he says this isn't true. And they just needs a few days to get things in order, which she doesn't believe. And I think I know why he doesn't want to run away with her. He doesn't want to run away because this is his family. He knows that his mother is, he wants to protect his mother. He knows his mother, he doesn't know that his mother's dying, but he wants to protect her. He doesn't want to leave his family. And I think also Ben Dot, he definitely, you can tell he has feelings for Dot in this episode. You can tell he has chemistry for her. I like him with Maggie, but I think the show wants us to. I like him with Maggie definitely, but him and Dot definitely do have something going on there because we know that Dot has a crush on Jimmy. We know that. So then we get probably one of the most intense scenes of the episode. Not the most intense scene because the most intense scene is actually the end of the episode, which I'll talk about. But Dell comes in to the night and he goes to Amazon Eve and right away he tries to assault her. He puts like a chloroform like towel on her mouth and they get into like a huge brawl. She ends up beating the shit out of him with a pot, throwing him out on the ground. And like that was awesome. I mean, like Amazon Eve is an awesome character now. We haven't really had too much with her character, but that was awesome to watch definitely. And I really, really love seeing that. That was just amazing stuff there. Um, oh, I also forgot to talk about one other thing. In the montage we saw where Jimmy was practicing his song, we saw Penny and Paul again. So we're not gonna talk. I'm not gonna talk too much about what's going on there. We'll get to more of that in a second. But Penny and Paul, there is stuff going on there. Basically, Penny's still with Paul. Her father doesn't want her to be with him, and we'll talk about more what's going on with them in a second. But then basically Dell comes in tonight, and basically after he's attacked Amazon Eve, it's the next day, and all the ladies are freaking out, including Jimmy. Jimmy obviously is not happy with Dell, and I agree with Jimmy. Dell's done a lot of things, but this has to be like the lowest low he could hit. And Ethel's, immediately upset, and she immediately plots to invade his tent. She right away wants to invade his tent, and Jimmy's saying, no, 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 let's not do this. And Ethel gives him a speech about how naive he is, and how he needs to be punished for what he did, and Jimmy agrees and says it will be taken care of. So he basically wants to handle him on his own. So that's really interesting. So Elsa, meanwhile, is still trying to get the twins to go to Hollywood, but they say they want 20% off the top upfront. But the thing is, Dot does not want to go to Hollywood. First of all, she doesn't trust Stanley. And there's also the fact that Dot wants to now be actually, no, this was Beth that said that. Bet wants to be a comedian. Beth wants to be a comedian, and she wants to entertain people because Elsa did that for many people. Elsa, well, that's actually something Elsa didn't do. Elsa wants to be a performer, and again, Elsa's very jealous of her. She still is very jealous. You can tell the jealousy's still there. And, basically, Bet wants to change everything. She wants to dye her hair and everything. And the money that she got when she sold them, and Elsa tells him this is blackmail, but she does go along with it because, again, the whole plan is to basically make them feel a paradise and then kill Dot. That's basically the plan here, is to give everything to Bet and then kill Dot, because we know that she is still jealous of Dot and she wants to kill her. However, now that Dot doesn't really want to do that, this kind of gives Elsa a new incentive that maybe she doesn't need to. So I was kind of thinking maybe, Elsa's not going to try to kill her now. So Jimmy and Dell, they have this conversation in a bar, and I thought this was just an amazing conversation. Amazing scene between these two actors, definitely. I thought this was very well done. Um, Dell's talking about all this bullshit about how, basically he's like, oh, well, I tried to make a deal with Amazon Eve about his and her strongman act, and she didn't listen to it. Like, you can tell it's not true. Jimmy can tell he's lying. Jimmy can tell it's not true, but, basically he says she can say whatever she wants, and Jimmy says to look at her, he's like, look at her, now look at me. And it doesn't matter what the truth is. He says he won't miss him if he goes, but he needs to deal with it. So outside, Jimmy vomits into a trash can, and Dell almost hits him in the back of the head with a brick, and I honestly thought he was just going to knock Jimmy out right then and there. I thought this is what he was going to do, and he doesn't. He doesn't end up knocking him out. And you kind of get some father-son bonding here, which I thought was interesting. He knocks him in the head with a brick, and Jimmy confronts him. And I love the scene. We find out that Jimmy already knows who his father is. He already knows that Dell is his father. He didn't even need to ask Ethel. He could just tell by the way Ethel was acting with his father. She's very uneasy about it. She's not happy around his father, so obviously he can tell that Dell is his biological father, which I think is an awesome twist. I think it's definitely very well done. And the way they handled it was so well done, was so subtly done. I mean, there was no like build up to it. And he also reveals he knows everything about his family. However, he compels him, and he sort of somehow compels him to admit that he is Jimmy's father. And of course, he's not admitting it. At first, he's like, "This is not true. You don't know what you're talking about." And he admits that it's true, and he says that, and they hug and go home. So at this point, I'm like, are they actually bonding? Are they actually gonna have like some sort of good relationship here? I was thinking something good was gonna happen between them because they're happy, they're walking through the camp drunk, they're singing, and Elsa tells them to quiet down. And Desiree is not happy about this at all. She is not happy that this has happened between them. She does not want Jimmy to live this life. She doesn't want Jimmy to let Dell influence him. And Dell bursts out repeating that Jimmy is his son. And he says that he wants him, he wants to be a good father for him, and also quips about how much it must have taken. And I agree with what else is saying. Now he decides to tell her because it must have taken a lot of courage finally to claim his progeny after over 20 years. I agree with what she's saying. I mean, it's taken him 20 years to do this, and now he's finally doing it. Like, it's stupid. 20 years. Come on. So then let me get to Penny real fast. Basically, Penny and her father talk one more time. He says that she has no idea what she's doing with Paul. She should not be with Paul, and he lets her know why. Because what he decides to do is he decides to give Penny a makeover, and we'll talk about what that makeover includes in a second. But Dell still has to deal with Stanley's blackmail, and he's reminded of when he tucks Jimmy into bed and emerges only to find him sitting there waiting because he wants a freak dead. That's all Stanley cares about now. He cares about a dead freak, and that's what matters to him. He doesn't care when it happens. He doesn't care how it happens. He just wants something to give to that museum so they can have the money because he's a con man. And I really like that about Stanley's character. And a lot of people have said he's not really menacing, but the thing that's missing about his character is how calm he is. He's a very calm character. He's not in any way, like ferocious. And I like that about his character definitely. He's very calm and collected, and I like that about his character. And I think that's what makes him really creepy, in my opinion. I really think that Dennis O'Hare is doing a very good job with that. He always sort of plays with, quiet characters, but this season he's really, he has a talking character, but still is not a very, like, threatening character just because of how he is very threatening, but he's threatening in a sense of more of how his body language is and more of what he wants done, less than how he acts. So Beth then undergoes the makeover with makeup and blonde hair. She now has blonde hair, and I love what she says that she's like, they're basically the perfect before and after picture. She wants Dot to get a makeover, but Dot refuses, and they could make it an act called the Metamorphosis, where Dot's transformed to a beauty. And, basically Elsa tells Dot to let her know if there's anything else they need. And she hands Dot a note. And it basically says, she asks why she wants the money, saying that she can just tell Elsa her heart's desire and Elsa can help her. and Dot returns her a note and basically tells her about the surgery. And I knew this was going to happen because they talked about it heavily throughout the episode. They talked about how Danny knew about the surgery before, and she seemed very interested in it. And like I predicted, she wants this surgery. She wants it to happen. She wants to get the surgery because it matters to her. It matters that she gets the surgery. Basically, she tells Elsa that, look, I want to find this doctor. I want to find who can give me the surgery, separate her and her twin. And she says her secret is safe if she can get this done. So that was amazingly done. And then we cut to another makeover. And this is just totally messed up. Like, so messed up. One of the most messed up things about this episode. And this whole season messed up. But seriously, this was so messed up. Penny's father hired, like, this guy to give her a makeover. And she looks into a mirror. And she looks exactly like Paul. So he's basically turned her into a freak. She's against him now. He's basically like, you're against me? I'm going to turn you into a freak. So I thought that was an amazing twist. I would have never expected that. And the way that was done was just so creepily done. I have to admit, that scene was really creepy. I wasn't expecting that. And that was definitely very creepily done. And I really love the way they did that scene. Just handled very well, in my opinion. I definitely really enjoyed that. I thought it was definitely handled very well. And the way they approached it was very, very good as well. So basically, she returns to Paul, and Paul sees what's happened to her. She's crying hysterically, but she doesn't have a ton anymore. She's lost her ton. They've cut out her ton, basically. And, they haven't cut out her tongue, but they, like, stabbed it so she can't talk. So, and it's interesting to see that Paul's not dead. I thought Paul was going to die in this episode. He's not dead. I'm thinking they're going to kill him off in the mid-season finale. But, I thought that was definitely very sad. I really felt bad for Penny. I like this relationship between Penny and Paul. It doesn't seem like a relationship that works, but something about the two of them, you really root for them because Paul is this guy who just wants to be normal. He just wanted to be a normal guy and have a normal life and, have a normal lover and things like that. And now he finally has all that, but now it's backfired on him because her father's turned against her and she's gotten this makeover and it's so sad what's happened. I really felt bad for him because of that. So Stanley and Elsa discuss the situation with the twins being back and hell-bent on destroying her, and she tells him about the surgeon and says she wants Stanley to locate the doctor and send the twins to Chicago, where she will be back off her back forever, because she doesn't want to kill. And Stanley just suggests why not just a misery kill, because obviously he wants to kill a freak. That's what he wants done, and he's not sure if Dell's going to do it for him. So he says, why not just go with a misery kill? And Elsa kind of looks into this idea. So I'm wondering if Elsa's going to maybe look into this idea of possibly getting a misery kill. I don't know. But we'll have to see what happens there. Because I think it definitely is very interesting the way they set that up. And I'm wondering what's definitely going to happen there. And then the end of the episode. This was so sad. Dell goes into Ma Petite. And the second he saw her, I'm like, he's gonna kill her because what did Maggie want to do to Ma Petite last week? She didn't kill her. She spared her life. And most times in American Horror Story Freak Show, when you spare someone's life, they're gonna die. So he gives Ma Petite a dress as a present, and it seems like at first, like, he is not gonna kill her. It seems like he's gonna be fine about it. She tries on the dress and everything. It's such a sweet scene. However, he carries her and he suffocates her to death in order to pay the blackmail. And I love the way the episode ends because the episode ends with us seeing in episode 5, similar to episode 5. Remember in episode 5 when we saw, Stanley having that fantasy about the Morbidity Museum? Well, this time we see it again, but it's real, and it shows Ma Petite in a tank, and that's how the episode ends. And wow, what an amazing episode this really was. Everything about this episode was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. This was by far the best episode of the season. And let's talk about some of the things that I really like they're doing with the show this season that I really hope they continue to do. Overall, there's quite a few things to talk about. A lot of stuff to talk about, actually. First of all, let's talk about Dell and Jimmy. Dell and Jimmy, it seems like they want, Jimmy kind of wants to have a relationship with his father. It seems like he wants to. It seems like he's connecting with him. I don't know now. If he finds out that Ma Petite died, I definitely don't feel that Jimmy is going to, accept Dell as his father. I think now Jimmy's just going to want to turn against him and kill him because, of course, they were scared for, now I can't think of her name. Damn, what's her name? Where is it? Amazon Eve, they were scared for her, and now that Mama Teach died, they're obviously going to turn against Dell, and this is not going to end well in the long run. So I definitely, I'm very interested in seeing what's going to happen there. Maggie and Jimmy, why doesn't he want to go with Maggie? Why doesn't he want to run away with her? I don't really know what's going on there. For whatever reason, he does not want to run away with her, and he has his reasons, but I think it's simply because he maybe is starting to develop feelings for Dot, because we know he has that connection with her, and maybe something's happening between them. I predict that something is going to happen between them. I don't know what, but something is definitely going to happen there. Um, Again, I don't know what it is, but we'll have to see. Um, as far as Stanley and Elsa goes, I am definitely interested in seeing what's going to happen here. I'm wondering if Elsa's going to, maybe want this misery kill to happen. I mean, it's a cop out. It'll get her out of what she wants, so maybe she'll actually do it. Or are they going to separate the twins? In my opinion, if they separate the twins, one of them is going to die, and that's what's going to happen. Dot seems to be the main focus, so if they kill one of them, it's going to be bad. I'm just saying. And we have to wait 2 weeks for the next episode. Why are you doing this to me, FX? Just why? Why do you have to do this? I understand it's Thanksgiving, but seriously, like, I really want to see the next episode, and, like, now I have to wait a week. Oh my god. I really don't want to wait a week because this episode was just amazing. I loved it. Um, and I guess that's pretty much all there is to talk about. Oh, Paul, of course. What's gonna happen with Paul and Penny? I don't know what's gonna happen there, definitely. I think her father's gonna turn against her. I think she can't really trust her father anymore. And I think her father pretty much wants nothing to do with her. I think her father is just like, stay out. I don't want anything to do with you. And I really felt bad for her, definitely, because of what's going on with her and her father. I want them to have a good relationship, but it seems like, and now that she's done what she's done, they can't have a good relationship, and I definitely felt very bad for Penny because of that. And I really love that this show is just getting us to root for, to get us to care for every single one of the characters, and I'm really wondering whose death is going to be next. Danny, not having enough Danny in this episode was fine. Danny was in one scene. He had so much in the last episode to do that I was fine that he wasn't in this episode. Um, I am still kind of wondering if Danny's going to somehow get to the freak show, because we know that's going to happen. Danny doesn't seem to really be the main antagonist anymore. It seems like the main antagonist now is Dell and Stanley, because that's kind of what this episode focused on. I like that they did that, because the show always has that way of tricking us. And also, is Desiree and Ethel going to find out that Dell killed the doctor? I don't remember if they found out or not. I don't believe they know. I mean, I guess we'll just have to see. But that's basically it for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. I thought this was by far the best episode of the season. So into this episode, and so into the show. The show cannot deliver a bad episode, and I can't wait for the next episodes. And I'm really happy because when it comes back, there's not only 2 episodes, there's 3 episodes. So I'm very looking forward to that. And I will see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for the Vampire Diaries. So I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.